Hello, welcome to our web development tutorial series on Zenva.com. In the previous video, we discussed the type of project we will be building in this series, which is going to be a sample web store where users can log in or register and then peruse a menu of products that are for sale. As well, they can also upload their own products if they want to sell something. So it's going to be a very simple web store. And in this video, we're going to get the project set up by setting up a basic Express project and rendering a simple home page, which is where we will begin our user interface. So what you're going to need for this video is the Node.js runtime installed on your machine. So make sure you head over to nodejs.org and have the LTS version installed. Use the LTS for this one. Make sure you don't install the experimental features, because sometimes that causes some weird bugs that are hard to figure out. I'm going to be using the Sublime text editor, but you're welcome to use whatever you prefer. Some people prefer Atom, some people use Visual Studio, it's up to you, but I'm going to use Sublime. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. Open up your terminal, and I'm going to CD to my desktop. Of course, you can do this wherever you do your programming work. And I'm going to create a new directory called sample store. And I'm going to CD into the sample store and create a node project by running npm init, which really just gives us a package JSON where we can set some basic configuration options for the project. So we're going to use all the defaults for now. And that should be good to get started. So if you head over to your desktop, you should see the directory. If we open that up in our text editor, you will see the package.json that we just configured, and we're good to go. So of course this is going to be a Node Express project, so that means we need to install the Express framework, the web framework. So let's go ahead and do that. So npm install and Express, and then -- save. Don't forget to do this so that when it's done, it will also be added to the package.json as a dependency, which you can now see right here, which is of course what we want. So let's go ahead and configure that server.js file. Oh, I did not create it yet, so let's create a server.js file, which is where we will create the Express application. So let's go ahead and configure that file. So first thing we need to do is import Express, of course. And let's instantiate the Express app. So we will call that app. And let's set up a basic route for the home page, which of course takes a request, response, and next argument, or function with those arguments, excuse me. And we're going to have this send back some very basic text confirmation. And we're going to have this listen on port 5000. And we're going to add a simple console log right here. So that we can visually confirm on the terminal that the app is running. Great. So now you may recall in one of our earlier videos we used NodeMon to run the server, which is great because it watches the files while we work so that we don't have to remember to restart the server every time we make changes. So we're going to use NodeMon for this as well, but we do have to make a small change in the package.json. Since the server.js is where the app is being instantiated, we have to head over to package.json and tell that right here on line 5, so that NodeMon knows where to find the entry point. So once we have that set up, we can go back to our directory and run NodeMon, and we should see app running on localhost 5000, our own confirmation message from over here. So now once we've confirmed that, we can head over to localhost 5000, and we will see this is the home route, which is confirming that it works. So great, everything is good to go. Let's head back to our terminal and turn off the server by doing Control-C. And what I'm going to do in this project is create a dedicated routes directory. Rather than have all the routes organized here in the app.js, they're actually better off to be organized in their own separate route files, which makes the project more modular and easily maintainable and just better organized in general. So we're going to create a separate home route whose only focus is to render the home page. So let's go ahead and do that in a routes directory. So create a new directory called routes and cd into it. And we're going to create a new file called home.js, which will handle the routing responsibilities for the home page, and cd back to the root directory. And then inside the routes directory, we have to import Express, of course. And Express provides a specific router object, which is an object that handles routing responsibilities and capabilities for your project. So it can handle GET requests, POST requests, all the generic routing functions that you need. So that is called the router. And that is a function from Express. Well, that's grabbed from a function called router. And the router is organized just like we were doing earlier. We just set up a path, and then we pass in the request, response, and next function argument. And then we can do the same thing as before. And this time, we're not running the server from here. We want to export this file. So we do module exports. And then we export the router, which enables us to export this file into the server.js and then use the router instead of setting the route explicitly right here. So we're not going to use this anymore. So let's get rid of that. And let's import the home route. So here I'm importing the home route. Actually, I prefer to do that above the app instantiation. I like to have all my requires up top. I think most programmers do it this way as well, so this is better structure. And then we need to set the path to use that route. So we tell the app to use the home route, which is this route file right here, for this path. So this route will be responsible for all requests to this path. So the gets, the posts, the puts, and deletes will all be going through the home route file that we set up over here. And so far it's only handling the base path, which means we can now relaunch the server. And head over to localhost 5000. And now it's coming from the home router, which is the message we got over here. So that's good. That means it worked. So now we have a dedicated route file whose only responsibility is to handle home page requests. So in the next video, we're going to have this route render a template with HTML rather than just raw text, which we can then use to inject dynamic data. So we will be doing that in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.